The diplomatic shuttle touched down on the human colony of New Terra with barely a whisper. Ambassador Lyria stepped out, her crystalline skin catching the afternoon light. She had studied humans for cycles, mastered their languages, understood their customs. Or so she thought. Her liaison, a cheerful woman named Emma, greeted her with that strange baring of teeth humans called a smile. Lyria had learned not to interpret it as a threat display. "Welcome, Ambassador. I hope your journey was pleasant." "Adequate," Lyria replied, her translator converting her harmonic speech into human words. "I am eager to begin our cultural exchange." Emma led her through the colony, pointing out various structures and explaining their purposes. Lyria took mental notes, fascinated by the crude yet effective architecture. Her people built with light and energy. Humans used metal and stone. Primitive, perhaps, but there was an elegance to its permanence. They passed a medical facility, and Lyria paused. Through the transparent wall, she observed a human female with a significantly distended abdomen. "That human appears ill," Lyria said, concern threading through her voice. "Should we not offer assistance?" Emma laughed. That peculiar sound humans made when amused. "Oh no, she's not sick. She's pregnant. About 8 months along, I'd say." Lyria's optical organs widened. "Pregnant? I do not understand this term." Emma's expression shifted to puzzlement. "You know, carrying a baby. Growing a new human inside her body." The translator must have malfunctioned. Lyria tapped the device, checking its readings. "All systems normal. Please clarify. You stated that a new human is growing inside her body?" "Yes, exactly. That's how human reproduction works." Lyria felt her respiratory system quicken. "Inside? As in, within her physical form?" "Well, in her uterus specifically, but yes." "How did it arrive there?" Emma's face changed color, a phenomenon Lyria had learned indicated emotional response. Well, through sexual reproduction. When a man and woman... Sexual reproduction," Lyria interrupted. "We studied this in xenobiology, the theoretical joining of genetic material from two individuals. But the text suggested this was rare among intelligent species." "Rare?" "Ambassador, nearly every mammal on Earth reproduces this way. Humans included." Lyria's legs felt unstable. She activated her support field. "You are telling me that humans grow their offspring inside their bodies? That you carry them internally for a period of time?" 9 months, usually." 9 months. Lyria's voice rose several octaves. "That female has had another organism living inside her body for 9 months? It's not an organism, it's her baby. But it is separate? It has its own genetic code?" "Well, yes, a combination of both parents. Then it is a separate organism." Lyria felt the edges of her vision darkening. "This is parasitism. This is horrifying." Emma reached out to steady her. "Ambassador, please calm down. This is completely natural for humans." "Natural? You consider voluntary parasitism natural?" "It's not parasitism," Emma said firmly. "The baby isn't harming the mother. Well, it's uncomfortable sometimes, but it's a natural biological process." Lyria's mind raced. Her people reproduced through careful genetic engineering in controlled facilities. 2 individuals contributed genetic material, which was combined in sterile conditions and grown in artificial chambers. The idea of carrying a developing being inside one's body was beyond comprehension. "The discomfort you mention," Lyria said slowly. "Describe it." Emma considered. "Well, there's morning sickness, back pain, fatigue, swollen feet, difficulty sleeping." "Stop." Lyria held up a hand. "This process causes pain and illness? It's temporary, and humans willingly do this?" "Billions of times throughout history." Lyria sat down on a nearby bench, her legs no longer capable of supporting her. I need a moment to process this information. Emma sat beside her. I'm sorry, Ambassador. I didn't realize this would be so shocking. How do your people reproduce? Lyria explained the clinical process, a careful selection of genetic traits, the artificial growth chambers, where embryos developed in perfect conditions with constant monitoring. Emma listened thoughtfully. That sounds very safe and controlled. It is the only logical method. But don't you lose something? The connection between parent and child? We form connections through social bonding after birth. But the mother never feels the baby move inside her? Never talks to it before it's born? The father never puts his hand on her belly to feel kicks? Lyria's translator struggled with these concepts. Why would anyone desire to feel movement from an internal organism? Because it's your child. It's this amazing thing where you're literally creating a new life. You create life in laboratories as well, yes? For medical purposes? That's different. How? Emma paused. I suppose it's hard to explain if you've never experienced it. But there's something profound about carrying a child. About your body changing to accommodate new life. About feeling connected to this tiny person before you even meet them. It sounds terrifying. It can be. But it's also beautiful. Lyria watched another pregnant woman walk past, her hand resting on her swollen abdomen with apparent affection. Not fear or distress, but tenderness. These females are not distressed by their condition. Most embrace it. Some women talk about missing being pregnant after their children are born. That is incomprehensible. Emma smiled again. Different species, different perspectives. But I have to ask, are you all right? You seem genuinely disturbed. Lyria nodded slowly. I am attempting to reconcile this information with my understanding of humans as an intelligent, spacefaring civilization. In my experience, such advancement requires logic and careful planning. Yet you reproduce through what appears to be biological chaos. Maybe that's exactly why we're successful, Emma suggested. We're used to chaos and adaptation. Our bodies are designed for it. Over the following days, Lyria observed human families with new fascination and lingering horror. She watched a birth through medical facility cameras, witnessing the intensity and effort involved. She interviewed new mothers, trying to understand their perspective. One woman, named Rachel, held her newborn while explaining her experience. Yes, pregnancy was hard. Labor was the most intense pain I've ever felt. But the moment they placed her in my arms, none of that mattered. But you knew it would be painful, Lyria said. Why choose this? Rachel looked at her daughter with an expression Lyria was learning to recognize as love. Because some things are worth any cost. Because creating life is the most incredible thing a person can do. Because when she looks at me, I know I'd do it all again in a heartbeat. Lyria processed this. Her people made logical reproductive choices based on genetic compatibility and social planning. Emotions rarely entered the equation. Yet humans threw themselves into this biological upheaval driven by feeling and instinct. Do all humans feel this way? Not everyone wants children, Rachel said. But those who do understand that it's not always rational. It's something deeper. On her final day, Lyria sat with Emma overlooking the colony. I believe I understand now, Lyria said. Not the desire itself, but the mechanism behind human resilience. You are a species that embraces difficulty as part of existence. You carry life despite discomfort. You endure pain for future joy. You are biologically programmed for adaptation and sacrifice. Emma nodded. I suppose that's true. This is why humans spread so quickly through the galaxy. Why you thrive in hostile environments. Why you recover from setbacks that would destroy other civilizations. Because we're used to carrying weight. Because your very existence is an act of endurance and hope. Emma laughed. That's probably the most poetic way anyone has ever described pregnancy. Lyria stood, preparing to depart. I came here believing I understood humanity. I leave knowing I barely grasp the surface. Your species chooses struggle as the foundation of life itself. It is illogical, inefficient, and absolutely extraordinary. Will you report this to your people? I will, though I suspect they will react as I did initially. And how do you feel now? Lyria considered the question. Disturbed, fascinated, and strangely inspired. Humans do this all the time. You carry the future inside you, literally, and treat it as ordinary. Perhaps that is the most alien thing about you. Not that you do it, but that you consider it unremarkable. Emma extended her hand in the human gesture of farewell. Lyria took it, feeling the warmth of human skin. Thank you, Ambassador Emma. This has been the most educational and unsettling experience of my career. Emma grinned. Welcome to humanity. As the shuttle lifted off, Lyria watched the colony shrink below. Somewhere down there, humans were doing exactly what they had done for millennia. Growing life in the only way they knew how. Carrying the weight of the future in their bodies and calling it natural. Perhaps humans were not just survivors. Perhaps they were living proof that sometimes the most powerful force in the universe was not logic or technology, but the willingness to embrace chaos for the sake of what came after. Lyria made a note in her report. Humanity does not conquer through superiority. They endure through acceptance. They do not fight their nature. They make it their greatest strength, and somehow, impossibly, it works.